Magandang araw po. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako nga po pala si Sir Andrew M. Pagaling ng Curva Elementary School. Ang naatasan po na mag-explain o magpaliwanag po. Though alam na rin naman natin kung ano itong tatalakayin natin ngayong araw na ito. Ngunit nais lamang po nating i-enlighten ulit ang bawat isa nang sa gayon ay maisagawa o may sakatuparan natin ang topic na ito. Ano ho ba itong topic na ito? Pero bago po tayo mag-umpisa, nais ko pong anyayahan ng lahat ay umupo ng maayos, buksan ang tainga upang marinig lahat ng aking sasabihin. At syempre po, please, ayan, opo, pakipindot po ninyo yung microphone ng inyong cellphone nang sa gayon ay i-mute po ito para maiwasan po natin yung mga tinatawag nating hindrance o yung mga sound waves o anumang ingay dyan po sa ating mga lugar. Though dito po sa aking kinalalagyan ngayon ay meron pong mga kumakahol o po ng mga aso. Ayan. Nang sa gayon ay yung ating pong discussion ay mas maayos. Isa pa po, sa mga nais pong magtanong, bibigyan po natin kayo ng pagkakataon. Pero hintayin po muna ninyong matapos ko po itong ating presentation. Nang sa ganyan, mas maganda, maayos po yung flow natin. Sa mga nais pong magtanong, ayan, paki-chat nyo lang po kung ano po yung nais ninyong itanong at mamaya ay isa-isa nating sasagutin. Okay, so mag-umpisa na po tayo. Ano ho ba itong tinatawag po nating cyber safety considerations for K-12 schools and school districts? So pag-uusapan po natin yung about cyber safety and cyber security. The internet allows for access to information 24 hours a day. So 7 days a week. For schools, both public and non-public. So, online capabilities not only create entry to a vast amount of resources, but also facilitate distance learning and collaboration between classes and students in different locations. So, along with the benefits of the internet brings, however, come costs such as new threats to students. Recent news articles provide examples of these threats. One man extorted sexually explicit images from minors using social media. And instances of cyberbullying have reportedly soared in New York City schools. So these incidents can lead to depression and anxiety, health complaints, and decreased academic achievement by students. So, napakalaki po nung kanyang naapektuhan. Kaya, napakahalaga po na kailangan nating malaman talaga kung ano ba yung nakapaloob dito sa cyber na ito. So, some protections for children online are provided by federal law and regulations, such as the Children's Internet Protect Act or the CIPA or CIPA. So CIPA aims to protect children from obscene or harmful content on the internet. Schools or libraries that are eligible to receive discounts for telecommunications, internet access, or internal connections through the E-rate program. So, Universal Service Program for schools and libraries. So must certify they have an internet safety policy that blocks or filters access to pictures that are obscene, child pornography, or harmful to minors. So while CIPA may help prevent students from accessing inappropriate content on the internet, this will not protect students from the full range of online threats. To help address this, information is provided below on the most common online threats facing students and what schools can do before, during, and after an incident. So the readiness and Emergency Management for Schools, or the REMS, and Technical Assistance, or the TA Center. So here are the online threats to students. Okay, so listen very well. As well as the threats that all users face when going online, such as computer viruses and email scams, students are at risk from the following. Okay, first, cyberbullying. Okay, take note of that. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices such as cell phones, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text, and mobile applications or apps, or online in social media forums, or gaming where people can view, participate in, or share content. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Some cyberbullying crosses the line into unlawful or criminal behavior. So, mag-ingat-ingat po tayo. Lalo na po sa ating mga guro. Yan po yung ating mga dapat na isinasaalang-alang, lalo na sa mga estudyante natin. Okay? Pagsasabihan natin sila. Diba? Okay. So, example, inappropriate content. So, adolescents and children can unintentionally come into contact with inappropriate content, such as sexually explicit material. So, unsolicited, obscene materials can also be received electronically. Diba? Hindi natin napapansin. Yung palang nagagawa natin is inappropriate na pala. Though, tao lang din naman tayo, nagkakamali. Dahil nga meron ng gabay ukol dito, so mas magiging observant tayo. Mas lalo tayong maging sensitive. Mas lalo tayong maging mas maingat. Dahil alam na natin ito. Next, sexting. Sexting is the sharing and receiving of sexually explicit messages and nude or partially nude images via text messages or apps. Sexting, while commonly occurring off school grounds, also occurs in school property, with content being sent and viewed on cell phones. Of note is that possession of sexually explicit photos received from texting or sexting can be considered a type of possession of child pornography from a legal perspective. Diba? Wala tayong kamalay-malay. So, sa mga magulang po na makapanonood po nito, alam na this. Okay. Another one. Sextortion or ransomware. Okay? Sextortion or ransomware. Ano ho ba ito? So, students may also become victim to sextortion, possibly via ransomware, if they engage in sexting. So, sextortion occurs when someone threatens to distribute private and sensitive material if not provided with images of a sexual nature, sexual favors, or even money. So, ransomware is a particular form of computer malware in which perpetrators encrypt users' files. Ingat-ingat, then demand the payment of a ransom for users to regain access to their data. Okay, so dito na pumapasok yung Data Privacy Act. So, ransomware can also include an element of extortion in which The perpetrator threatens to publish data or possibly sexually explicit images if the victim does not do what the perpetrators wants, such as provide nude photos. Diyan na lumalabas yung sinasabi nating blinablock ka, ganyan. 'Di ba? Para mapasunod ka na niya. So, let us talk about oversharing naman. Ayan, magaling tayo dyan, minsan. Oversharing. So, personal information that is sometimes shared by students includes their name, age, address, phone number, and social security number. Diba? Sa mga applications natin ginagamit, napapansin po natin yan. 'Di ba? Meron tayong nakalagay dun minsan, deny, allow. So tayo, allow tayo ng allow. Kaya, ingat-ingat tayo sa pagbibigay ng ating mga personal information. 'Di ba? Kaya nga, oversharing. Ingatan natin yung oversharing. Opo. Dahil sa pag-ibig, sa pagmamahal. Huwag mong ibigay ang lahat. Sa huli, ikaw ay masasaktan pag binigay mo ng sobra-sobra. Kaya nga, pag over, sabi nga nila, ang anumang sobra ay nakasasama. 'Di ba? Okay. So, next, online predation. So, what is online predation? Online predators put victims through the grooming process, a series of steps by which they build the victim's trust by sympathizing with him or her, or finding common interests. After which they proceed to set up a face-to-face meeting with the victim and then move forward with manipulation and seduction. Diba? So, ingat! So, what are we going to do? So, schools and school districts can implement several cyber policies and procedures to help keep their students safe from online threats. These include the creation and implementation of responsible use policies to ensure that students are aware of appropriate online behavior. Inform them, teach them. The use of filtering and blocking software at school to prevent access to inappropriate content and education about the risks of being online and how to stay safe. So, responsible use policies, or the RUPs. Schools and school districts are encouraged to develop an RUP, also known as an acceptable use policy, before students are allowed to access the internet at school via school device or the student's personal device. An RUP is an agreement written in simple and accessible language among parents or guardians, students, and school personnel that outlines the terms of responsible use and consequences for misuse. Families are usually expected to knowledge that their children or their child will follow basic guidelines, and students agree to the standards laid out in the policy. So RUPs can cover issues such as expectations for online behavior, what resources can be accessed, academic integrity when using technology, and how student data and information will be used by the school. For example, the New York City Department of Education's Internet Acceptable Use and Safety Policy provides a summary of the policy, including a hyperlink to an easy-to-read description for parents or guardians, teachers, and students, and principles for use, such as monitoring, privacy, prohibited uses of the internet systems, and filtering, among others. So how? Filtering and blocking content. One of the first ways to prevent students from accessing inappropriate content either deliberately or accidentally, is for schools and school districts to use filtering and blocking software, which allows users access to only pre-approved websites. Teachers and staff can help determine what sites should be blocked. So regular audits can also be conducted to ensure that appropriate online educational material can still be accessed and to determine if blocked sites should remain blocked. Okay. Digital citizenship. Schools and school districts are also encouraged to teach students what it means to be a responsible digital citizen as part of a broader strategy of promoting a positive school climate. So a digital citizenship curriculum can include topics such as privacy and security, relationships and communication, cyberbullying and digital drama, digital footprints and reputation, self-image and identity, information literacy, and creative credit and copyright. So as an example of a digital citizenship curriculum used by the K-12 school community, the Jurupa Unified School District educates students in internet safety, privacy, relationships, cyberbullying, self-image, copyright rules, and other topics. Lessons are age appropriate and discussions change depending on the latest digital trends and include topics such as the importance of making only constructive comments online. So, anong gagawin natin? Let us educate them. So, let us facilitate education and training. Okay? So, students, teachers, staff, and families can also be educated on online safety. Okay, so what are we going to do during and after an incident? So, students also need to be aware of what to do if they are a victim of an online threat. They can be encouraged to report threats to a teacher, a school counselor, another trusted adult, and the online service provider if appropriate. So students, teachers, and other members of the public can also contact the NCMES or the teachers or other related group or organizations. So if somebody is in immediate danger or a crime may have been committed, students, teachers, and staff should contact the school resource officer, police officer, or local law enforcement. Siyempre, pag grabe na talaga, alam na natin kung sino talaga ang dapat na nating lapitan. So, when developing activities to address cyber threats before, during, and after an event occurs, a planning team can progress through the 6 steps as follows. So, makinig po tayong mabuti. Ano ho ba yung mga steps na yon? Step 1. Form a collaborative planning team. Okay, so the planning team will likely comprise a core planning team, school personnel, community partners, and school district representative. To address cyber threats, the planning team can seek the additional input of individuals such as IT staff, local, state, and federal law enforcement, and emergency management, among others. When identifying actions to address cyber threats to students, the planning team can also look to others who play a role in supporting students' emotional needs, such as a counselor, a bullying coordinator, and other mental or behavioral health professionals. So, dun po natin siya ilalapit sa mga planning team na yan. Okay po. Next. Step 2, understand the situation. Here, the planning team identifies threats such as cyber threats and hazards to the whole school community using a variety of assessment tools, assesses those risks, and prioritizes them for inclusion in the EOP. One assessment that can be especially useful when identifying online threats to the whole school community is a culture and climate assessment. This tool evaluates student, teacher, and staff connectedness to the school and potential behavior problems. So as students can use online platforms such as social media to post or make actual threats to students, teachers, staff, and or the locality, ranging from bullying to targeted violence. Another assessment schools should consider implementing is a behavioral threat assessment. So the primary purpose of a threat assessment is to prevent targeted violence in schools by students, where school is deliberately selected as the location for the attack and is not simply by a random site of opportunity. Okay, so step 3, determine goals and objectives. And step 4, plan development. So identify courses of action. So after assessing the level of risk posed by threats and hazards, the planning team should work to determine goals and objectives to achieve the best outcome for before, during, and after an incident. Then, courses of action are developed that describe the who, what, when, and how to meet those objectives. For example, the planning team can address cyberbullying in the EOP by identifying goals and objectives for before, during, and after an incident. So the team can then identify courses of action to help prevent incidents from occurring, provide ongoing protection to the student body, mitigate cyberbullying's effects, respond to incidents, and help students recover from an event. Step 5. Plan preparation, review, and approval. Now, a draft is written and circulated to obtain feedback from those responsible for implementing the document. Edits are made based on those comments, and approval is obtained from the appropriate leadership. As the Cyber Annex will address both cyber safety and cyber security. This part of the document will include goals, objectives, and courses of action for keeping both students and the school's IT systems and networks safe. Step 6. Plan, implementation, and maintenance. Here, the EOP is maintained via regular reviews and revised when needed. As new cyber threats are constantly emerging, planning teams may decide to review the Cyber Annex more frequently. Further, individuals with roles outlined in the EOP are trained in their responsibilities, and exercises are also conducted to test the school's or school district's ability to respond to a threat or hazard. To sum up. So the internet has brought advantages, tama naman, such as access to information and friends anywhere in the world and at any time. However, it can also serve as a channel to negatively impact students as they unintentionally come across inappropriate content or become the victims of deliberate harassment. To help prevent these incidents from occurring, schools and school districts can create the RUPs, filter and block inappropriate content, and promote digital citizenship through instruction on how to stay safe online. If students do become victims, they should be aware of whom they can turn to for help, such as a teacher or other trusted adult. Further, planning teams should consider laying out protocols and courses of action for before, during, and after a cyber incident in the cyber annex to the school's EOP as part of their preparedness efforts. So, thank you for listening. Again, I am your teacher, Andrew. Nagpapasalamat po sa inyo. So, safety. Lagi po tayong mag-ingat. Physically or virtually. So, sa mga nais pong magtanong, ayan, pwede na po kayong magtanong. Maraming salamat po.